Welcome to part 2 of this year's Werewolf-athon, as we continue our journey into crazy werewolf girls with Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed. So with the way the first movie ended, it isn't like you could go much further without changing the name and focusing on Bridget, since she's more or less a werewolf now but has the cure. Yet they still went with this title anyway, despite otherwise. Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed was released in 2004 under the directorship of Brett Sullivan, while being written by Megan Martin, though otherwise John Lawsett acted as the executive producer, while like in the first movie, the themes that are present here tie into lycanthropy, but here the themes are more or less deconstructed with a major focus on like drug abuse and self-harm. Well, considering Bridget's rejection of the werewolf habits, this is going to explore what it's like to fight off an addiction. Well, okay, I'll bite. Let's see where they go with this. The film opens right about where we left off, with Bridget still undergoing the effects of the werewolf transformation and having to put up with shaving and cutting her arm. Apparently she needed to test the healing factor, but she has the monk's hood, so shouldn't this problem be resolved? Well, anyway, she ends up going to the library where we get acquainted with Jeremy, played by Brendan Fletcher, who thinks the reason she stays after night is because she likes him.
Here late at night, you stay until all the other avid readers are gone. You're attracted to me, but you fear rejection, so you bide your time, just kind of waiting for that perfect moment. Don't worry, I've been dealing with this all my life.
And 10 Bucks says he dies within the first 10 minutes of the movie. Now, given how they set it up, it looks like there might be another werewolf out there. Given the first one we've seen, it wouldn't surprise me. But you know the monk's hood from the first movie? It's not a cure. It's a treatment. And who tells her this?
You're healing faster, aren't you? That shit's not a cure, you know, it just slows the transformation. It doesn't stop it, B. Remember that game we used to play when we were little? The one where we would make ourselves hold our breath until we passed out?
I have a few questions about this development. One, is Bridget being haunted by her dead sister, or are these just words in her head given form for what Ginger might have said, given that Bridget was doing this off-screen in between movies? Two, is this the drug abuse factor that Ernest Mattis wrote about in regards to this movie? And three, are you telling me this stuff is like the Zombrex from Dead Rising 2, where it only keeps you from turning? Either way, Jeremy somehow found her house, wanting his books back, but finds her overdosed and decides to help her out. But of course... Now, from what Ginger was saying, this werewolf is a male, meaning it could be Jason since we know he got infected last movie, or it could be the werewolf that Sam ran over but regenerated, or an entirely new werewolf. But they never explain who it is, so that part goes unsolved. She falls unconscious after escaping far enough, and is now in a rehab clinic of sorts. She meets the director, Alice, who she tries to explain what happened to her, but Alice doesn't seem convinced. But at least we get a tour of the place.
Go over too well in private funding circles. So, 3 years ago, we became a dual care facility. We house chronic care patients from the hospital system. Barbara was badly burned in a fire. That's her granddaughter. She's here until we find her a foster home. The hospital was built in the 1920s to quarantine tuberculosis patients, but ours is the only unit that is still functional. The other wings have been closed for years and are strictly out of...
Great. Even a rehab clinic won't enforce discipline. This town really sucks. Also meet Ghost. She'll be our secondary main character of the movie. She's played by Tatiana Maslany, who went on to star as the lead character of Orphan Black. For the record, I have not seen Orphan Black, though it's still interesting to see how many times people from this series end up where John Fawcett went. The thing that makes her weird is that she exaggerates the kind of practices that go on here, which freak Bridget out and cause her to run. Too bad the last door is locked.
I'm Tyler. This is Marcus. Let's see, that's your cue to tell us your name. Your own clothes are being cleaned.
Oh, that's reassuring. This place at least promotes some positivity.
Which feels like coming home because, well, it's what I do. And I feel exhilarated and scared because I have to face unadulterated truth when I'm writing. Like the fact that my chemical dependency is...
Okay, but this still provides a good look into the kind of process people go through when in rehab. And like the first movie, you or someone you know might have been there.
Dr. Bruckner, if she doesn't shut up, I swear I'll make her drink her piss again.
Why are the unimportant characters such assholes? Seriously, wouldn't they know that this is a time for letting out your troubles, so this is perfectly okay? I also want to know if the clinic ever bothered asking Bridget if they could contact her parents, since I'm sure they'd like to know where she is right now. I also want to know if the clinic ever bothered asking Bridget if they could contact her parents, since I'm sure they'd like to know where she is right now. And I know the mother would be worried at least, but nope, neither parents are brought up. Ever. So far, the movie's neglecting to bring up characters from the first movie who had some relevance to the plot, or the two leads, on top of not even bringing up Jason as possibly being the mystery werewolf.
You have a room of people pretty curious about Bridget.
And incidentally, a room full of people who think you really suck at suicide.
The first movie didn't have nearly this many unlikable NPCs. At least high school you could see this behavior, but here, I would think there'd be more restraint given the situation. She tries to make herself clear that the longer she stays, the more likely she'll end up killing everyone in this place. That just gets her solitary confinement. She continues to monitor her healing rate, while Ginger continues haunting her with the obvious. Unlike Ginger, Bridget was always more rational, so any of her outbursts are more like warnings going unnoticed. Meanwhile, Alice and the others learn about the monk's hood she's been using. Ghost eavesdrops, and you might think that with how Tyler shows up and spies the monk's hood, he might be the new Sam. But no, that honor goes to Ghost. That honor goes to Ghost, who might actually be more dangerous than we thought.
Hey, BB.
At this point, I'm starting to think Barbara isn't the one needing rehab, though at the same time, I think it's Ghost who needs restraining. Either way, she knows Bridget is a werewolf, while Tyler is a more perverted version of Jason, as he immediately takes advantage of the fact that she is addicted to monk's hood, so you know exactly where this is going.
I get to choose where.
Why?
You know, I bet you're one of those girls that always asks her mom why. Mom, it's cold out. Why? Mom, it's dark out. Why?
I need that.
Why?
Give it to me.
Okay. But it has to be in a place that no one else will see.
I hope he ends up dying later. Anyway, more abuse from the Biatch Brigade. And I swear, if none of these girls get killed by Bridget later, I will be most unsatisfied. Where is the frickin' discipline here? Will somebody please hit them?
I said I can't see the TV.
Would you like me to throw you at her head?
Oh! Thank you! Of course, this isn't enough to show that the two are friends, but later she does slip her a comic that lets her know she knows about the werewolf thing. She even offers to help get her the monk's hood Tyler has once she sees her ears turn pointy.
Get out!
I know where Tyler keeps his stash.
I said get out!
Okay, I get she's not really too fond of her, but she just offered to cure you. Don't let this chance slip by. As Ghost goes to get the stuff, she witnesses Tyler getting a blowjob. Yeah, this movie is really making me want to see characters die more than I want them to live. And that should only be for one character, not all of them. Well, she almost succeeds in slipping Bridget the stuff, but Tyler catches her, which means another chance for him to be an ass.
Are you sniffing me?
I need it.
Yeah, you said that before. Why'd you have to go and do this?
I made a mistake. Please give it to me.
No. There has to be consequences to our actions, or there is no order. And there has to be order in a place where things get very, very confused. Welcome to rehab, baby.
Haha, go to hell. This hierarchy bullcrap is the reason people are still messed up in the world.
How it all starts with wanting. I mean, what were you thinking when he was in that stall with you? Because even I, really, was shocked.
I wanted
the monk's hood. I just...
You're not helping! And then we get an orgy? God damn it, is this really what Ginger felt the whole time? Besides wanting to murder people, was she really driven by sex? Granted, we didn't quite experience that through Bridget, as she was more affected by her sister's change. Now that she's actually inflicted with this, it's an experience of what both went through. It's effective, but I'd like at least some more characters to like and not want to die. At this point, between the hairy palms and the change in eye color, shouldn't you show people this to maybe prove you aren't as crazy as they think? That maybe there's a physical change going on? Maybe it won't matter, but it beats doing nothing. No, let's instead cave into Tyler's desires to sex him up and get an injection. Oh, and we learned that the werewolf that's been following Bridget tracked her here, as it's implied that it killed the dog that Ghost was taking care of. She thinks Bridget did it, and even brought the head to her? Well, either way, knowing what this means, she plans to escape with Ghost's help. Bridget sneaks through the vents and, oh hey, Barbara noticed her. Doesn't matter. She ends up in the basement, which looks like an abandoned part of the hospital? What the hell happened here? Oh, and damn it, is everyone just coming here to get laid? What kind of clinic is this? Well, as much as I want Tyler to die, sadly he has to wait in line since it's this girl who bites the dust. Well, at least Ghost was kind enough to send her to the afterlife, alright.
You were such a cunt.
You're losing my respect here. Now, as this werewolf chases them, I must ask, why? Why does this werewolf care so much for Bridget that he must kill her? Why is she the target? Well, I hope it can survive fire. Here, Bridget background dumps Ghost with her life story from the first movie, which still doesn't explain this werewolf, but otherwise she contradicts the comic lore of werewolves. So I guess even though she got treated, the transformation is going faster, meaning her healing factor is through the roof. This is a definite sign that her inevitable transformation will come, and it will destroy her like her sister. And then no more movies can be made. Yeah, we'll get there soon enough. They head to Barbara's place for the night, and it's here we learn a bit more about Ghost, in that she may have been abused by her grandmother. Makes me wonder though, whatever happened with her parents, but otherwise Barbara did at least burn herself to be at the clinic in the first place.
After the accident, I took care of her. People think that's bad.
Is that why you're at the clinic?
No, I'm at the clinic because Alice gets money to keep me there.
Is that right?
Yeah, she just makes up another thing about me to fix, like hostility to conventional morality, or ADD. That's attention deficit disease.
Actually, that's disorder. Attention deficit disorder.
Whatever. Or inability to communicate with other residents.
Well, Alice runs a crappy clinic anyway. The patients are assholes, and the nurses are always horny. At least we'll have to go back there to see them die to the werewolf. What do you mean there's no more clinic scenes? Damn it, I wanted to see the rehab clinic become a blood clinic. I wanted to see Tyler get his bit off by a rampaging monster. Now I'm never gonna get that. Thanks. And again, why does the werewolf want to kill you?
It wants to mate with me. Don't try too hard to visualize that.
So over time, we start to see more and more of the questionable things Ghost does, including a trap she set up for the werewolf. With only a half hour left, this is a relatively nice way to set up some tension because by now it's clear she is nuts and Bridget is putting herself in danger with someone who is unpredictable. I gotta say, I feel like we finally have something really good for the movie, because the character we thought might have had grudges for being a little abnormal actually has a dark side and even an ulterior motive. All the while, Bridget descends slowly into madness.
I need more monkshood. We have to call Tyler.
Oh, we're bringing him back? Maybe we'll see him die after all. Although, do you really think he'd be stupid enough to just bring you the stuff without telling anyone? Actually, he was laid off for a while, which is enough reason for him to turn to the good side. Though still an ass, because he isn't even asking for sexual favors anymore. What? No, that's not how it works. You don't just turn off a character trait and expect me to care for your safety. I still want you dead. Well, now we have a problem. The monk's hood won't work on Bridget anymore, which means she will turn for good at some point. But first...
Your body's rejecting it. Okay, that is not good. That is not good. This is not supposed to be happening. I gotta get you to a hospital.
Take me anywhere and I'll tell Alice everything. Get away from me.
Bridget?
This is not good. This is so not supposed to be happening.
Bridget, what's happening?
What is that shit anyway?
Even with a changing crew, the effect work is still pretty impressive. Now that she's become Velvet from Tales of Berseria, it's time to call Alice, but Ghost doesn't want her to go back. So she tricks Bridget into thinking that Tyler abused her. Not that this was any better reason than the other things he's done lately, or the fact they started making out again. God damn it, Ginger! But it's enough to kick him out. And let him die! I couldn't tell with that, but I think I got my wish. Not wanting to completely become like Ginger, she's going to at least kill the werewolf that's been stalking her this whole time. They set a trap for the creature, and who comes knocking at the door? Why, it's Alice!
And Bridget's here. She's fine.
Bridget, come on out!
You are making progress, Ghost. This is not progress. What I see is a little girl who does not divide what is real and what is a fictional world in her own mind. And until you divide those things, Ghost, you can't take responsibility for real.
Yep, as it turns out, Barbara never did anything wrong. Ghost was a monster the whole time. She burnt Barbara because she's really a psychopath. If this were a video game set in a Dead Rising style video game, she'd be the final boss. The werewolf attacks just as Bridget learns the truth, and of course, Alice becomes a last-minute protector, not knowing anything. Good thing the werewolf is more docile when next to its potential mate, but of course they must kill it, so time for an epic battle!
Here! Ghost, come on, quick!
dead.
Down the basement she goes. Well, at least the werewolf is dead, but now she's begun her final transformation. After killing Alice with a hammer, yeah, Ghost has a choice to make. Either kill Bridget or help her out. Ghost decides neither. She locks her in the basement, where we learn of her ultimate fate.
Growing steadily stronger beneath the floorboards, her faithful companion, with a deadly hunger for human flesh, waited to unleash the darkness and fury of hell on her mistress's enemies, of which there were many. And so began Ghost's reign of moral terror.
I'm honestly mixed with this movie. While both movies so far have a more psychological theme going than most other movies like it, where common problems with growing up and dealing with drugs get tied into the werewolf concept, the first movie felt easier to relate to its main cast since there were still real problems you could identify on top of the horror factor that crept in. Here, it's roughly the same, but they had more emphasis on the other plot thread. Like, it's weird that at first they have a focus on Bridget and the problems with her dealing with her transformation through what's basically drug abuse and all the things that come with it, only to also bring in a character whose problems don't really match well like with Ginger and Bridget, and instead turn out to reveal some bad ending for Bridget, who instead of dying and joining her sister, she's forever going to be the pet to this psychotic girl. Like, they knew there was no way for Bridget to continue moving on without Ginger, so they had to make an ending that would more or less kill off both sisters, but maybe set up for a spin-off. Again, the ending just felt odd to me, and it was hard to really get through this without getting angry at the side characters, who end up having more unlikables than moderate to decent ones. The effect work is still really good, but the overall writing just felt weaker in comparison to the first. It was just harder to invest in the story given everything that happened, but otherwise I could see people liking it for the way it handles its death scenes. But after all that, how the hell do you even get a third movie with the two characters back together? Well, they found a way. Come back Halloween, and we shall see Ginger snap back. Oh, this is going to be something.
SpaceMonkeyMafiaStudios.com.
What is that?